Bonjour! We are now in science and we'll be starting chapter 4. How do animals and plants grow and change? We'll be learning about tadpoles, life cycles, larva, pupa, seed coat, and seedling. How to read science. So we're going to put things in order. To put things in order means to tell what happens first, next, and last. Sort of like with our math where we're learning the ordinal numbers with first, second, third. It's the same way, but here we're only doing 3 different pieces, first, next, and last. So if we look at the 3 pictures, we have a picture of a chick, an egg, and a hen. So which one do we think would come first? Which do you think comes first in those 3? Put it in the first box. Draw that picture. Then how about what comes next? Which one of those 3 pictures will come next? And finally last, which one will come last? Here's our first song. That's a life cycle. Let's play a game of first, next, last, so all of us will know how things change before our eyes as they grow and grow. Let's play a game of first, next, last, so all of us will know how things change before our eyes as they grow and grow. So before we start lesson 1, I want you to answer these questions. Read each sentence and you decide if you think it is true or if you think it is not true. And I want you to circle the word or words after each sentence to tell us what you think. Number 1, a frog begins as a tadpole. Is that true or not true? Number 2, a tadpole grows front and back legs. True or not true? Number 3, a tadpole changes into a young frog. True or not true? What are the 3 answers that you have that you think might be the answer for 1, 2, and 3 at the top before you read lesson 1? Science lesson 1 for chapter 4. How does a frog grow? The frog begins as an egg. The frog egg hatches and out swims a tadpole. A tadpole is a very young frog. A frog egg is tiny and the egg feels like jelly. But a tadpole has a tail, and a tadpole has to live in water. The tadpole swims in water, and the tadpole grows and changes. So this tadpole here that's in the picture is about 5 weeks old, and its back legs have begun to grow. Now, in the next picture down below here, the tadpole is about 9 weeks old and its front legs begin to grow as well. The young frog is still growing. Its legs are getting stronger, and soon the young frog will be a grown frog. Still has a bit of a tail there. This young frog is about 12 weeks old. Its tail is getting smaller. Checkpoint. What does a tadpole change as it grows? Checkpoint. How does a tadpole change as it grows? So what are the changes we saw? We started before with an egg, then just the tadpole. And then it continued to grow. So what are some of those changes that we saw? Make a timeline for number 2 of the growing frog. Draw when it is an egg, how it looks at 5, 9, and 12 weeks old. Show us the changes that you see. Grown frog. The tadpole grows into a frog. The grown frog lives on land and in water. The frog hops on land. Animals grow and change. All of these changes are called a life cycle. Look at all the changes in the frog's life cycle. It first started as an egg. Next, a tadpole hatched from the egg, and the tadpole swims in the water. And last, the tadpole grows into a frog. The grown frog may lay eggs in the water. Checkpoint. Number 1, how do frogs and tadpoles move? So how does a tadpole move compared to a frog? Number 2, tell about the life cycle of a frog. What happens first, next, and last? I want you to take out your lesson 1 summary. So at the top, lesson 1, how does a frog grow? You have the vocabulary of a tadpole, which is a very young frog, and life cycle, the changes that take place as a plant or an animal grows and changes. The frog starts as a tiny egg, and a tadpole comes out of the egg. A tadpole is a very young frog. The tadpole swims in water, and the tadpole grows and changes. First, the tadpole grows back legs. Next, the tadpole grows front legs. The tail gets smaller, and last, the tadpole grows into a frog. A grown frog, the tadpole grows into a frog. The frog lives on land and in water. Animals grow and change, and this is called a life cycle. The frog grows and changes in a life cycle. The frog starts as an egg. Next, the tadpole comes out of the egg. Last, the tadpole grows into a frog. Grown frogs may lay eggs in the water. Moving back to the think, read, learn. How does a frog grow? We already did the top. We did the top 3 before you read the lesson. Now we're going to go down to the bottom after you read lesson 1. Read each sentence again. Circle the word or words after each sentence that tell you what you think now. Did any of your answers change from up above? So first, let's answer the questions. Number 1, a frog begins as a tadpole. Is that true or not true? Number 2, a tadpole grows front and back legs. True or not true? And number 3, a tadpole changes into a young frog. True or not true? So once you have answered these, I want you to come over and draw an X if it was different from your answer up above for 1, 2, and 3. Did you change any of those answers from up here to down here? Lesson 1 review. Complete the sentence. Write the word or phrase that completes each sentence. So at the top you have 4 words. You have hatches, life cycle, grow, and tadpole. So fill in the blank for each one. Number 1, a frog blank from an egg. Write in which one you think it is. Number 2, a baby frog is called a blank. Number 3, frogs can blank. And number 4, the blank of a frog shows how it changes. So fill in these 4 words into those blanks for where you think it belongs and where it makes sense. Draw the parts of a frog's life cycle that are missing. So the first one is an egg. So draw a picture of a frog egg. The second one, well, we're using first, second, third, just like with the ordinal numbers. Tadpole. So this is the tadpole stage of the life cycle. And they have given you the full picture of the frog. So fill in the missing pictures. Lesson 1 checkpoint. Number 1, how does a tadpole change as it grows? First, the tadpole grows back blank. Next, the tadpole grows blank legs. The blank gets smaller. Last, the tadpole grows into a blank. So fill in those blanks with the answers from our reading. Number 2, how do frogs and tadpoles move? The tadpole blank in water. The frog blank on land. Tell me how they move. How does a tadpole move? And how does a frog move? Number 3, tell about the life cycle of a frog. What happens first, next, and last? And write those on the lines below.